This Friday on Plug.
If it does not work at all, why do you have to fight?
Are we saying you must go for somebody who has a similar background?
Saying now we are 21st couples, we don't do this, we don't do that. But when you go there to this guy's house,
That somebody's background matters.
yes, sometimes she's tempted to parent me.
The race matters.
Why
Why do you want to bring up the past that the Lord has forgiven? The tribe matters.
things? They had the resources, they were resourceful. But you find this guy who was poor,
When do you
disclose.
disclose? If I disclose this person is going to leave me.
Sometimes you are not even the one who's supposed to be helping this person.
The Lord has forgiven us.
Hey!
The old is gone. Behold,
The new has
hallelujah.
come, yes.
Look at the
Hey, suka wena.
Background check with Mac and Opes.
Well, good day, friends and family. Thank you for joining us once again. Welcome to Plug.
Oh, yes.
I am Mag. I'm blessed and highly favored. I'm the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath. I'm the child of the Most High God. I'm a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a nation belonging to God, to declare the praises of Him who has called me out of the darkness of relationships into His wonderful
Aye.
light. And I am here. Thank you for joining us. I am here with my friend.
Oh yes, thank you, Meg. That was great. That went much better than other weeks. So yeah, guys, if you are here for the first time, welcome to Plug. Thank you for passing by. Thank you for stopping, and thank you very much for joining us this evening, this day, depending on the time you are watching.
Yeah.
If you are here for the first time, na gi opa wa gara malagana. Gimnar nom sibido katra faso wa shadro katagas. Gingigidan gamazul gamlumla tutursa. Gigoblo bertabatur mormutul komari twane. Buda gomu. Charamek. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's going better as well. Too.
Oh yes, guys, we are building young and old families here. We are busy constructing and we are loving it, friends.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for encouraging us with your comments and with your feedback that you give in these topics. We are still in premarital advice, and today we are in session 3. We have spoken about Mama Zala, about in-laws and in-law management. Maybe one point that I did not make last week, Meg, is that much as we speak about it in the context of management,
Sure.
In-laws are not projects. They are not projects to be managed. They are
Sure.
people to be loved.
Okay.
So I think that sessions is
that's
just
important.
I think that's
That's
important that we note it. It's not just project, but it's people who needs to be loved. And I think understanding those dynamics around those kind of relationships helps us to love them better.
Yeah.
So I thought I should say that because I didn't say it previously. So we are in.
That's important. The fact
yeah.
that you even mentioned that, because
Yeah.
when you talk about management, you are tools
Projects,
to go and work on them.
Yeah,
but
sure.
it hits differently if you love them and appreciate. Ooh, look at the background.
Hey man, guys,
we're
plugging
outdoor.
you. Yes.
We enjoying the sunset. I hope you guys are enjoying the vibe.
And it looks
as
gorgeous,
well.
man. Yeah. So guys, we are moving in. I mean, we've already touched the aspects of the in-laws. Today we are moving in. We're speaking about the importance of personal and family backgrounds as it relates to the relationships, and we have to also acknowledge the personal background and also family background. Those are two separate topics on their own, but
Sure.
but what we are going to do here is just to give you tools to say these are the things that you need to be looking at as you move in, because we won't exhaust the entire content
Sure.
as it relates to premarital preparation kind of.
Yes, and in light of that, then because situations and individuals are unique.
Yeah, sure.
And this is not enough, really, to
sure.
indulge in and say you're getting ready. We just giving you tools, like Opa has said, to start thinking around them in your dating space.
Yeah, sure.
Start thinking about that because we want to build long-lasting relationships. That even if you have to get out of it, it does not get messy.
Yeah, it does. It's
because
not toxic.
It's not toxic.
Yeah.
Also,
It's not. You don't live because of the toxicity of the situation.
Yeah.
You are just living because you have realized. Or, in fact, I spoke to my mentor Meg, and he said, and I fully subscribe to that. He said, maybe this process on its own, the process of premarital coaching and advice, maybe it's something that couples need to go through first and then decide when they want to get married at the end of the process, because the roads of these couples may diverge or converge at the end. So and this process is really intended to help people to realize those kind of things, to say at the end of it, to say, I don't think this is for me, or I don't think this person for me, or those kind of and I fully subscribe to that to that idea.
So what are one of those things that could cause couples to say, I don't think this will work out? That we think we're going to be addressing today is your personal or your person's personal background and
their personal journey and their family thing. Maybe let's start with that family. And
family
we've already
background.
family backgrounds and how those are important as it relates to people being together. I mean, it's important to know and to understand, because in most cases people respond to situations the way they do because of how they were socialized in their family. I'm seeing the situation where one person is coming from a family where there's a mother and father and siblings, and one who comes from a single parent background, whether it's a mother or a father, it doesn't matter. Obviously, there are two dynamics that are different, and that may potentially cause conflict when these people come together. Because on this other side, you find where a mother is doing everything, is cooking and preparing the food, serving the father and serving the rest of the children. But on this other side, it's the mother still do things, but it's more the approach is more of, if you are hungry, you need to dish your own food kind of thing. And now you find this person coming into the same space. This one is expecting or their marriage will look like this, because that's their frame of reference, that's their backdrop. They are expecting this thing is going to look like this, my wife's role is going to be this. But on the other side, the wife is like, we're all human, why can't you get up and get your own plate and dish your own food kind of thing? So you can potentially see conflict. So it's important to begin to navigate along those spaces.
Okay, I see where this is going. In other words, you're saying the family that you grew up in kind of paint a picture of what you think your marriage would look like, or your family. So potentially. So meaning the other person, which is your spouse or your partner, also have their own frame of reference. And now you are coming to the space trying to build that. But then, because they're different, it will potentially collide. So are we saying, Hore, you must go for somebody who has a similar background?
Not necessarily. Remember, in the conversations that we have
so that
had,
it does not collide.
Sure. That can, if that can work, then it's okay. But I'm saying that's not necessarily the case, because remember when we have spoken about what it takes to be in a relationship, you need to be obviously, you need to be emotional, you need to be strong emotionally, you need to emotional intelligence. We spoke about that aspect, but all that this means is the two of you need to recognize that these two worlds can potentially cause conflict, and in some cases it has caused divorce. So what is it that we are saying? We are saying, let's bring these two world views together. Let's see if we can find an amicable decision or solution. And if it does not work at all, why do you have to fight and take this relationship to marriage where it will potentially cause divorce? Let's iron out these things. Let these things come out, and so that we'll be able to address them. Sometimes also make it's even family responsibility. Sometimes firstborns, like for example, my wife is a firstborn. In her family, she was the one to take care of her siblings. She would cook and do all of those things and make sure that they eat, they bath and stuff. And my mother-in-law would go to work. So my wife has that deputy parent thing in her. Sometimes she's tempted to parent me. Sometimes I will be sitting and I'm eating, she'll be telling me sit properly. Or you see, if I don't understand that kind of space, I will take offense. I'll be like, I'm not your child. Why do you instruct me on how to?
And your worldview says that you are a man.
Oh yeah, I am a man. Don't tell me how to. Don't tell me how to sit. I've been sitting for 29. I've been sitting for 29 years. Why you want to teach me to sit down? You see, so those things, they are necessary to be able to navigate to.
Sure.
Even the family. I mean, some families privileged. They were privileged.
Sure.
They had things. They had the resources. They were resourceful. But you find this guy who was poor. And now they get into a space at some you find this guy who was poor. Even when they put peanut butter, you could literally see it. You could just smell the peanut butter on the bread.
Yeah.
But this guy is at a space where now he can afford things. You see, in fact, just even to show you something, in my personal space, even Mac. So not because I wasn't so much privileged, too much. There were a lot of the family backgrounds, a lot of things we couldn't afford. So when I could eventually afford now, my wife is different. When they buy cheap crisps or chips, Simba, whatever you call them, you need to take and put in the plate, and you need to eat there. Now I want the whole packet. I want to take the whole packet and I want to eat it and enjoy and finish it there. And you see, those could potentially cause conflicts if we don't navigate within those spaces, because we'll be like, why do you want to eat this whole thing? There's still tomorrow. You see, my wife and I had to work through those kind of things.
No, I see. So what you're basically saying is that it's something that can be worked through.
Oh yeah, sure.
But it's up to the couple to decide
to want to
whether
make it work.
They want to make it work or not. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So we looked at we just now looked at family background.
Yeah, sure. And we didn't even scratch the surface.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah.
Because what I'm thinking is, again, jumping onto the Prince Harry and Meghan issue. Is because the public is asking, didn't they know what they were signing up for from the beginning?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even the prince himself is saying. My brother and my father, they are trapped. Because she was asked, why? How do you say you are trapped when you lived within this space where there's privilege and everything and all of those kind of things? But you are raised in that space. You have raised within those systems. You have find your way to move around that system. But now you are bringing another person who has not been part of this system for the rest of their life. They need to learn to walk around. But some of the routes through the systems may not necessarily work to the next person. We may need to construct new routes altogether to navigate this this space.
So all in all, we can safely say that somebody's background matters.
Yes. How they were raised.
And I'll even go forward to say even the race matters.
Oh yes, yeah.
And even the tribe matters. In our thing. Not for it to decide whether the relationship is going to work or not, but to know and be aware, not be naive to the fact that no, this person is a human being. They're supposed to be.
Or just say now we are 21st people, we don't do these things. Yes, the two of you may say now we are 21st couples, we don't do this, we don't do that. But when you go there to this guy's house or to this lady's house, there's some expectations there. If you go in naively and you say now we are 21st people, we don't do this, we don't do there will be serious Makoti in-law challenges there. Yeah.
Friends and family, I'm just asking the questions. I'm not married, so I can't speak much into this. And we look now at the family background and how much more does somebody's personal history play a factor in this. Is it something that you need to check? We are Christians. The Lord has forgiven us. The old is gone. Behold,
the new has come. Yes.
Look at the glory now is shining above me.
Hey, Meg, that's.
Why do you want to bring up the past that the Lord has forgiven?
Yeah. I think it becomes necessary. Now we have moved from the importance of understanding the family backgrounds and the dynamics.
Did you cover everything that you?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. Not even close.
Okay, we're not even going to try.
But no, we're not going to try. What we're saying, look at this area and find a way to navigate it. But now even on a personal, because how I relate with you somehow is connected to where I come from. So guys, as we are speaking, you can see the sun is too bright there. So we will just move to the next camera. We will be just facing there. We'll just be working on the next camera, but we will continue the same conversations. So what I'm saying, Meg Corey, your upbringing, your personal history, basically, not even just your personal history, what you have been through as a person. It's necessary at some point in your relationship to begin to disclose that, because I'm reminded of a case where someone who's dark and gorgeous, I mean, now they have suffered with an issue of being told that they are too dark when they are young.
Sure.
So they don't want to be hey, so guys, you can see we are surrounded, but we shall still continue. So you have a person.
A person who's dark.
Yeah,
yes.
you have a person who's dark, and I mean, black is beautiful. But when you were still growing up, you were told how dark and how ugly you are, and now you get into a space with this guy or this lady, and they really see your beauty in that dark complexion. Sure. And when they compliment you, sometimes it can be linked to that memory, and you can think they're not genuine, they're being sarcastic, because that's those things that you have been struggling with. But also sometimes if you have been mishandled or you have been molested or you have been raped, those things, even though they are too personal, but because we want to take this lifetime journey, I think at some point in your relationship you need to bring them up, because they determine how you relate to this person, or how you respond to, or even how you even give love to this person. What do you think?
I'm trying to follow with you, and it makes sense, but at the same time, because you're saying at some point in your relationship, you need to divulge that, and I'm wondering at what point, because sometimes you get into it too deep, that you feel like if I disclose this person is going to leave me and not want to be with me.
You need to be okay with that. You need to be okay with the fact that dating is not marriage. It can or it might not work. Otherwise, it's gambling. Sometimes you fall for someone and you fall so hard, and they have no intention to catch you. Sometimes it works. We don't know. We can't determine the outcome. The outcome, but you need to be willing to take that risk. It's a risk, of course. But at some point, you need to say, if you really care deeply about this person and how they treat you, you need to disclose certain aspect where you will be able to, so that they will not be tampering, and so that they will also be careful as it relates to those areas of your life.
Hey, I mean, I'm thinking about it. It's heavy, but I think because I'm fighting with the idea of when do you disclose? When do you disclose? And I'm thinking if it's early in the relationship. You do not know how safe of a place that is, because you don't know this person.
It's important to establish that safety.
How they're going to handle this, whether it's going to be the talk of the town or they're going to leave immediately. But then again, like you covered, when I say you get into it too deep, but it's really being okay with that, because at the end of the day, somehow the truth tends to come out. Sure. What was I thinking about? But anyway, where typical of our culture, I think we can go back there now.
Sure.
Typical of our culture is fathers tend to, or children tend to come out of nowhere. But coming from the father's side, where he planted his seed 20 years ago, and he has not disclosed it, and then a child comes out because he has not disclosed that he has had been in sexual relationships before. So how does that impact the relationship?
It's dangerous, because then it will begin to well, it will depend. I mean, as you grow into things, you want to understand the intentions. Why did you not disclose this thing and stuff? Depending on the stage of the relationship, where are you in terms of relationship, and where are you? I'm not referring to years. I'm referring to how do you relate to one another? How do you resolve conflict? Depending on where you are, it could potentially, other people have just decided, I feel like I don't know this person. I'm packing my bags and I am going. So it's always best to disclose, but also other people who just will understand, depending on the stage of relationship where they will understand the intentions. Are you really genuine when you say this and this and this? That's why we speak about transparency. Transparency is key, even at the beginning of the relationship. Obviously, you have asked the question, at what point do you begin to disclose this thing? For me, even though we don't like to categorize, but every relationship has stages. there's a first space where you have just met, you speak about easy, very shallow things, then you speak about things that concerning other people, and then you will eventually speak about things that concerns you and stuff like that. So I think you will know. Yeah, I think you will know when the right time is. When you feel safe, you will disclose, and that we cannot determine where. It depends on at which stage of the relationship do you feel safe to divulge such things.
Okay, one more question. If either partner is not willing to go into that depth of a conversation, or is it something that one can still pursue to marriage?
Okay, they're not willing at that point or forever.
Well, we can't really say forever, but at that point, they or every time it comes up, it's something that they put aside. Is it a red flag?
It's not necessarily a red flag. So I'm saying you need to understand the deep emotional pains and people's experience. Ultimately, the choice will obviously depend on you, on whether you want to. Sometimes you are not even the one who's supposed to be helping this person through this experience. Sometimes you just need to. Maybe your role is just to know if they're okay or not, or if they've dealt with that. So it will depend on you. If you feel strong enough that this is a red flag for me, then let it go. But if you feel like you want to hang around and be there with this person and help them fully get through this thing, but all I'm saying is you need to understand that sometimes other stuff will come when you are married after a few years of being married, and trust is fully in there. It's immense. They don't feel judged. They can be themselves around you and all of those things. Then they can begin to disclose certain things. But it's all eventually depends on how do you want to take it at that point.
Sure. Yeah. It really got deep very very quickly.
Yeah, sure.
But I mean, all I'm taking from this is, as a couple, if we really love each other, we need to and I liked how you handled that, saying that it's not necessarily a red flag, but you need to be sensitive to somebody's experiences and that, because what you're trying to get at the end of the day is not your way.
Yes, sure.
It's not for you to be fully assured that this one is mine. But some things, a step of faith, because even after everything that has been disclosed, it is not guaranteed that it will work, or it's supposed to work, or whether somebody will be interested. Be it them staying, be it them leaving, we need to be comfortable in ourselves, and even the decisions that we make within that.
And I think one thing that is important even about this process, it's also, working side by side with each other, trying to understand each other, not for what I can get out of it, but for eventually for how will this relationship look like, not out of selfish ambition and all of those things. Working side by side is one thing that you will know is, even though at the end it might not work, but it won't be messy. It won't be. You will just understand, or based on that, this thing did not work. Of course, it will be painful, because maybe one of you was convinced, or we are vibing together with this person. We're going somewhere, but really, if you go through this process and go through it open-minded, understanding, or it may end up to a place where I'm hoping to, or it may end up in a different relationships. You have to take a step of faith. You have to trust. Sometimes you trust and your heart gets broken. That's the nature of relationships. Sometimes you trust and you win. It goes well. It ends well. So
still being sensitive to this topic and where it's going. I'm just wondering if any one of you have had those experiences, be it in a marital space where you have discovered things that you wish you would have known 2 years into a relationship, or even earlier in your relationship, and how you have handled that, or how your partner has handled that. If you have any questions even around this, let's just be a platform where we can communicate. If you want to send an inbox and still be anonymous, feel free to do that. We can really assure you. But what we're trying to do, and what we're hoping to achieve, is that we build healthy relationships healthy does not mean that it is immune
Yeah.
to things that can happen.
Yeah,
but
sure.
it's just saying that
Yeah.
we are together in this and we are walking together in this.
Yeah, and things don't end messy.
Yeah.
And at the end of the relationship, like in one conversation we've had, then you can just understand, as a couple we will not make it, but maybe as friends, and maybe move on with your with your life. It shouldn't end messy. Like some of
Sure.
relationships could, because relationship could really can really end up messy. So it's important to understand this person, where they have been in their lives, and understand also those areas that they need your respect and your attention as it relates to that. Maybe they don't want you to touch that area or this area, it's still early, or whatever the case may be. But you will need to understand, ultimately it will be the deep love that you have for this person. It will either, I mean, you can love them as a human and as an image of God, but not as a couple. But maybe you can love them as a couple, as someone that you see yourself with, and you can work through things together. It's still okay. We are not here to be prescriptive.
Sure.
Either way, whether it's a red flag or it's not a red flag, that's an individual decision that they need to make. Yeah.
From the two of us,
Yes.
we just want to say thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
And this is only scratching barely on the surface.
Yeah.
So remain plugged. Connect with us.
Yes, sure.
Talk to us. And from the two of us,
Remain plugged.
ciao.
Ciao. Hey, this is a deep topic.
This production was brought to you by Imago Dei Media.